The palace was quiet, too quiet. The once great halls of the alien empire stood broken. The tall walls were cracked, and the glowing crystals that once lit the chamber were now dark. Only dust and shadows filled the air. A human mercenary stepped carefully through the ruined doors. His boots echoed on the stone floor. His name was Jace, a man known across the stars for fighting battles that were not his own. He carried scars on his arms, and his sharp eyes studied everything around him. He had come here for credits, for survival, but he knew already that this place held more than treasure. It held power. At the center of the ruined throne room stood a woman. Not human, not fragile, but tall and radiant, even in her broken state. Her skin shimmered green under the faint light. Her long silver hair hung loose, and her armored body showed both beauty and strength. She was the alien queen, dethroned and abandoned. She turned to him slowly, her lips curved into a smile. Not soft, but sharp. Her laugh echoed through the empty hall. Strange and fearless. Ha ha. Restore my throne, and the snuva between my legs is all yours. She joked. The words struck Jace like a blade. He frowned, not sure if she mocked him or tested him. His eyes narrowed. His arms crossed over his chest. He had heard many strange promises in the galaxy, but this one carried something hidden beneath the humor. The queen's laugh continued, but her eyes betrayed a flicker of pain. It was not just a joke, not just a tease. It was a mask. He saw through it. Jace always did. He knew when someone was desperate. He had seen that look before on battlefields, warriors hiding fear with laughter. Jace spoke finally, his voice steady. I don't play games. Her smile widened. She leaned against the broken throne, her armor clinking softly. Neither do I, human, but if you walk away now, this empire burns forever. If you stay, well, perhaps you will discover what snuva truly means. The word lingered in his mind. Snuva, was it a weapon, a treasure, or something deeper? He had no answer, only questions. Jace scanned the room again. His mercenary instincts screamed at him to leave, to not get involved. This was not his fight. He was no savior. But something in the queen's voice pulled him closer. It was not only her beauty, not only her boldness. It was the weight of her throne, the power it once carried outside. Distant echoes of marching could be heard. Enemy soldiers. The queen tilted her head, listening, then smirked. They come for me, human. My enemies think I am weak. They believe my throne is gone forever. She straightened, her laughter fading, her voice becoming sharp, but I will take it back. With or without you, the sound of blaster fire crackled in the distance. Growing louder, Jace's hand went to his weapon. His instincts sharpened. He had fought too many wars to mistake what was coming. They were surrounded. The queen stepped closer to him. Her eyes gleamed with challenge. So mercenary, what will it be? Walk away and watch me fall or fight beside me and earn the snuva you do not yet understand. Her words burned in his chest. Jace hated riddles, hated being played with. But the fire in her voice was real. He could sense it. This was no mere joke. The snuva was more than she let on. The ruined palace trembled as explosions shook the walls. Enemy forces had entered the city. Soon they would storm the throne room. Jace tightened his grip on his blaster. His heart pounded not with fear, but with the sharp taste of battle. He looked at her. This queen who laughed at her own fall, who dared to mock even in defeat. She was dangerous, reckless, beautiful, desperate, and he knew one thing he could not leave. Jace's voice was low, almost a growl. Fine, queen, I'll fight. But not for jokes, not for riddles. You'll give me answers when this is over. Her smile returned, soft but fierce. She stepped back toward the throne, placing her hand upon the cracked stone. Then stand ready, human, for when you restore my throne, you will know the truth of Snuva." The throne room doors shook violently as enemy soldiers prepared to break through. Dust rained from the ceiling. The queen drew her weapon, a blade. Glowing with ancient light, Jace raised his blaster. The battle for the throne had begun. The throne room doors cracked open with a thunderous boom. Dust fell from the ceiling, and the sound of heavy boots echoed closer and closer. The enemy was here, ready to finish what they started. Jace adjusted the strap of his blaster rifle and stood tall. His sharp eyes flicked to the alien queen. She looked fearless, her silver hair glowing faintly in the dim light. Her blade hummed in her hand, ready to carve through anyone who dared enter. Yet, despite her mocking words earlier, there was something unspoken in her gaze. She needed him, and Jace knew it. The doors finally gave way. Exploding inward, dozens of armored soldiers stormed in, their alien faces twisted in rage, their weapons glowing red. Their war cries shook the hall. The queen raised her sword, her voice booming across the chamber. "You dare enter the queen's hall, then bleed for your crime." Her words were fire, and she leaped into battle. Her blade slicing through the first attacker. Sparks flew as steel clashed against energy weapons. The queen moved like lightning, strong and graceful. Jace hesitated for a breath. He was a mercenary, not a kingmaker. This wasn't his war. But when the second wave of soldiers raised their weapons and aimed at her back, instinct took over. His blaster roared. Bright blue bolts streaked through the air. 3 enemies fell instantly, their armor smoking. The others turned in shock to see a human fighting beside their queen. The queen spun, her blade flashing, her eyes locked with his. She smiled, not mocking this time, but fierce, proud. For a moment, it was as if she had known he would fight all along. The battle raged across the ruined throne room. Soldiers fell. One after another, Jace moved like a machine, his body fueled by years of training. He fought with precision, never wasting a shot. And yet, with every enemy that fell, more seemed to come. "Your choice is made, human," the queen shouted above. The clash of weapons. "You are mine now." Jace growled, blasting another soldier in the chest. "I don't belong to anyone." Her laughter rang out again, sharp and wild. "We will see. Mercenary, we will see." The fight dragged on, but together they carved a path through the enemy. The throne room floor was littered with bodies. The air smelled of smoke and blood. And yet, despite the chaos, Jace felt something strange. He wasn't just fighting to survive anymore. He was fighting for her. When the last soldier fell, silence filled the room again. The queen lowered her blade, its glow dimming. Her chest rose and fell with heavy breaths. But her smile never faded. She looked at Jace as if he had proven something important. "You chose to fight human," she said, stepping closer. "Do not pretend it was only survival. You chose me." Jace wiped sweat from his brow, his voice steady. "I chose the side that wasn't trying to kill me." The queen tilted her head, studying him with eyes that burned like stars. "No, you chose because you saw my strength. You chose because you want to know the Snuva." Jace froze at the word again. That name, that strange promise. It twisted. In his mind, he wanted to demand the truth now, but before he could speak, a loud horn echoed outside the palace walls. The queen's expression darkened. Her smile faded into steel. "More are coming, stronger ones. They will not stop until I am ashes and my throne destroyed forever." She turned and walked toward the cracked throne, running her fingers along the broken stone. "You asked for answers, human? I will give you some, but not all. The Snuva is not a joke. It is real. It is the key to everything. And only one who stands beside me may claim it." Jace narrowed his eyes, so it's a weapon. Her lips curved again, half a smile, half a warning, perhaps. Perhaps it is more. You will see in time. The air outside shook with the march of hundreds of soldiers. Their banners darkened the sky beyond the shattered windows. Jace's mercenary instincts told him this was madness. He should escape now, take his pay and vanish into the stars. But his heart told him something else. He had fought for many leaders, many causes, but never for someone who laughed at death. The way this queen did, she faced him fully now, her silver hair glimmering, her voice softer than before. You must choose. Jace, will you leave me now and let this empire burn to dust? Or will you stay, restore my throne, and claim the Snuva whatever it may cost you? The hall shook again as enemy fire rattled the palace walls. Time was slipping away. Jace tightened his grip on his blaster. His mind screamed for logic, for caution. But his heart burned with the fire of battle. With the spark of something he couldn't name, he looked her in the eyes. Those fearless, mocking, desperate eyes, and he knew his answer. I'll stay, he said at last, his voice hard as steel. But when this is over, you tell me everything. The queen's smile returned, sharp and radiant. Then fight beside me, human. And you will learn more than you ever imagined. The palace doors began to crack again. The next wave was coming, but now, Human and the queen stood side by side, ready to face it together. And for the first time, Jace felt that maybe this wasn't just another job. Maybe this was destiny. The second wave came harder than the first. The palace gates shattered under the force of heavy cannons, and a storm of armored soldiers poured in like a black tide. Their glowing eyes burned through the smoke, their weapons humming with lethal energy. Jace stood at the queen's side, his blaster rifle charged, his pulse steady, his mind sharp. He had fought wars across half the galaxy. But this fight was different. This was no contract, no mission for pay. This was survival and something. More something pulling him closer to the queen with every heartbeat. The queen lifted her glowing blade high. Its light cast long shadows across the ruined throne room. Her voice rang out, sharp and commanding. This is my hall, and I am still your queen. Step forward, and I will break you. Her enemies roared back, filling the room with their battle cries. They believed her weak. They believed her throne gone forever. They were wrong. The first enemy charged, a brute twice the size of a human. His armor heavy, his weapon raised to crush. The queen darted forward. Faster than his eyes could follow, her blade sliced through his chest in one clean strike. Sparks lit the air as he fell. Jace opened fire. Blue bolts flashed, striking 3 soldiers. Before they could react, they dropped hard armor smoking. He ducked behind a broken pillar. His shots precise, every movement cold and controlled. Not bad, human. The queen called out, laughter in her voice, even as she cut down another attacker. But keep up, or you'll embarrass yourself. Jace smirked faintly, firing another round that took out 2 more soldiers. I don't need saving, queen. The battle turned brutal. Enemy soldiers swarmed from all sides. Energy blades clashed with the queen's glowing sword. Blasters screamed from Jace's rifle. Together, they moved as if the fight belonged to them alone. At one point, an enemy aimed straight at the queen's back. Jace's eyes caught it instantly. He leaped forward, blasting the soldier before the strike could land. The queen spun, her hair whipping like silver fire. Her eyes locked with his for a single heartbeat, and for the first time. She gave him a look without laughter, pure respect. But the enemy was relentless. More soldiers flooded in. Their commander, a towering beast with jagged armor, stepped. Through the broken gates, his voice boomed. The throne is dust, queen. Your rule is over. The queen's laughter rang out, mocking and fearless. Then why do you tremble when I stand?" She launched at him, her glowing blade clashing against his massive axe. Sparks filled the room as their weapons collided. Jace covered her flank, firing non-stop, keeping the lesser soldiers at bay. For every enemy that rushed her, he was there. Blasters singing death, yet still, the commander pressed forward. His strength was monstrous. His axe slammed against her blade, forcing her back. Inch by inch, human. She shouted through gritted teeth, "Now would be a good time to impress me." Jace didn't waste a second. He sprinted toward a broken statue at the side of the hall, climbing quickly from the high ground. He aimed carefully. His blaster glowed bright as he fired a charged shot straight into the commander's shoulder. The beast roared in pain, stumbling back. The queen seized the chance. Her blade cut through his chest in a blazing arc. His roar ended in silence as he fell, shaking the floor beneath them. The hall grew quiet again. Enemy soldiers hesitated, fear flickering in their eyes. They had watched their commander fall. They had watched a human and a dethroned queen fight like gods. The queen lifted her blade high, her voice thunderous. "You see? I am not broken. I am not done." The enemy broke, scattering into the smoke. Their courage shattered. The throne room was theirs again. Jace jumped down from the broken statue, his boots hitting the floor with a thud. He reloaded his blaster calmly. "That enough of an impression for you?" The queen's laughter returned, wild and alive. She stepped close, her silver hair brushing past her armor. Her eyes sparkled. "Maybe human. Maybe you are more than you seem." Jace didn't answer. His chest heaved from the fight. His arms ached, but his mind was sharper than ever. He studied her face, the way her mocking smile hid something deeper. "Snuva," he said at last. "It's more than a joke, isn't it?" Her smile faded, only for a moment. Her eyes darkened with a secret. "You will learn soon enough." "Jace," she whispered, "but only if you keep surviving outside." The sound of retreating soldiers echoed into the night, but Jace knew this was far from over. The queen's enemies would return, stronger, fiercer, desperate to crush her once and for all. He holstered his blaster and looked at her firmly. "Then I'll need more than half answers. Queen, if I'm risking my life, I want the truth." She stepped close, so close he could feel the warmth of Corinth. Her breath, her smile, was sharp again, playful yet dangerous. "Then, earn it, human. Restore my throne, fight beside me, and I will give you the truth, and maybe—" More than the truth, Jace's jaw tightened. He didn't like riddles. He didn't like being played. But something in her eyes held him, something wild, unbroken, unstoppable. The battle was over. But his real fight had just begun. The smoke of battle still clung to the broken palace walls. The air smelled of blood, fire, and dust. Jace sat on the edge of a shattered pillar, his blaster across his knees. His chest rose and fell with slow, steady breaths. He was tired, but not broken. He had survived worse. The queen stood near the throne, her glowing blade now dim. She leaned against the cracked stone, her silver hair messy from the fight, but her eyes still sharp, even defeated. And dethroned, she carried herself like a ruler, proud and unshaken. "You fight well, human," she said softly, her voice losing some of its sharp edge. "Better than many of my own kind." Jace glanced at her, his tone flat. "That's because I'm still alive." She chuckled lightly, though it held no real humor. Her fingers traced the lines carved into the broken throne. Ancient symbols glowing faintly in the darkness. "Alive, yes, but do you know why you're still alive? Do you know why I chose you to fight beside me?" Jace frowned, his instincts sharpened. Her tone was too serious now. Not the playful, mocking voice she used before. "You didn't choose me, Queen. I chose to stay." Her lips curved into a faint smile. "Perhaps, but you still don't understand. What you have chosen?" She turned away from the throne and walked toward a dark stairwell at the far end of the chamber. Her voice lowered, mysterious. "Follow me, human. You want answers. I will give you some, but not here. The shadows will listen." Jace hesitated. His gut told him to be careful, but his curiosity burned too strongly. The word Snuva still echoed in his mind like a curse. He rose, slinging his rifle over his shoulder, and followed her into the stairwell. The stairs led deep beneath the palace, into tunnels that smelled of earth and ash. The walls glowed faintly with blue crystals, casting ghostly light on their faces. The queen walked ahead confidently, her armor brushing softly against the stone. After a long silence, she spoke. "Snuva is not what you think. It is not gold, not weapon, not treasure. It is life. It is power-bound in flesh and blood. It is the core of my rule. Without it, I am no queen. Without it, my people scatter like dust." Jace slowed, his brow furrowed. "So this Snuvia's inside you." Her steps paused for a moment, just long enough for him to notice. Then she continued, "Yes, human. The Snuva is me, and more than me. It is something my enemies crave, something they would kill for. If they claim it, my people are lost forever." Her voice was steady, but her eyes flickered with something else, fear. Jace clenched his fists, his mind raced. He hated riddles. But this one was more than words. If the Snuva was bound to her, then her joke before wasn't only humor, it was a challenge. A dangerous truth wrapped in laughter. They reached a hidden chamber, deep underground. Ancient carvings covered the walls, glowing faintly like living fire. At the center stood a pedestal, and on it burned a crystal flame. The queen stepped forward, her hand hovering over the light. "This," she whispered, "is the source of my throne. The throne itself is nothing without the bond of the Snuva. This flame answers only to the blood of a true ruler." She looked back at him, her eyes piercing, "But it weakens. Human, it fades without me, and soon it will die." Jace folded his arms, his voice firm. "And you want me to help restore it?" The queen tilted her head, her smile sharp again. "Not want, need. Without you, it cannot be restored. Do you know why?" Zay's jaw tightened. His instincts screamed danger, but he pushed forward. "Tell me." She stepped closer, her face inches from his. Her silver hair shimmered in the crystal light. "Because the Snuva chooses, it chose you. Human, do you think I mock for nothing? Do you think I waste my laughter? No. The moment you stepped into my hall, it bound to you." Jace froze, his chest tightened. "Bound to me. I didn't agree to anything." The queen's laughter returned, soft but laced with steel. "It does not need your agreement. It is not a contract you sign. It is life, destiny, power. You felt it, didn't you? The way the battle pulled us together, the way our strength flowed as one." Guys remembered the fight, the way their movements had matched, the way she had known where he would strike, the way he had sensed her danger before it came. It wasn't luck, it was something deeper. He shook his head. "No, I fight with skill, not magic." Her eyes glowed faintly, "And yet, here you are, chosen without knowing, bound without asking." The chamber rumbled faintly, as if the flame itself reacted to her words. Jace looked at it, the light pulsing with a rhythm almost like a heartbeat. He didn't like it. He didn't like being bound to anything, especially something he didn't understand. "What happens if I walk away?" he asked finally, his voice low. The queen's smile faded. Her expression hardened into stone. "Then I fall. My people scatter, my throne burns, and you. Human, you will carry the Snuva's mark forever. It will not release you. It will not forgive you. You will feel its pull until your last breath." Her words cut deep. He hated cages, hated chains, and now she told him he was already trapped in one he couldn't see. Jace's fists clenched tight, his voice sharp. "You should have told me before." Her laughter echoed softly. "Not cruel this time, but sad. Would you have stayed if I had?" The silence stretched. Jace had no answer. His mind warred with itself. Logic screamed at him to run, to cut ties before they tightened. But something in his chest, in the fire of battle, in the pull of the snuva, told him he couldn't leave. The queen stepped back, her eyes glowing in the crystal flame. "You chose me once in battle. Human, now you must choose again. Will you fight with me to restore my throne, or will you run, knowing the snuva will never let you go?" The chamber shook again. Footsteps echoed from the tunnels above. More enemies were coming. Time was running out. Jace stared at the queen, at the flame, at the chains of destiny wrapping around him unseen, and he knew his choice would decide everything. The tunnels shook with distant footsteps. The queen and Jace climbed back toward the surface, the glow of the hidden flame fading behind them. Neither spoke. Their silence was heavy, filled with the weight of secrets just revealed. When they emerged into the ruined hall, a small group of her loyal guards was waiting. They were alien soldiers, lean and tall, their armor battered, but their eyes sharp with loyalty. They bowed to the queen at once, relief flooding their faces. "My queen," one said, his voice trembling. "We feared you were lost." The queen lifted her chin proudly, her laughter light but edged with steel. "Lost? No, I am very much alive, thanks to this human." She gestured to Jace, who stood quietly at her side. The guards turned their eyes to him. Some looked impressed, others uncertain. A human standing beside their queen was not a sight they expected. Jace didn't care for their stares. His mind was still tangled with the queen's words. "Snuva bound to me," he thought. "Destiny, power, chains I never asked for." He hated the idea, yet the fire inside him told him it was true. The group began to move through the broken palace. Their plan was to reach the old war chambers, where maps and supplies might still be hidden. If they wanted to fight back, they needed more than courage. But as they walked, Jace felt something strange. His instincts sharpened. His eyes scanned the shadows. One of the guards walked too close behind them, his hand never leaving the hilt of his blade. The queen noticed nothing. She was speaking with her captain, giving orders, rebuilding her command step by step. Her confidence was growing. Her throne already felt closer. Jace, however, knew betrayal when he smelled it. He had fought in too many mercenary wars not to recognize the shift in body language, the weight of a gaze that lingered too long. The moment came fast. As they entered the war chamber, the traitor struck. His blade flashed in the dim light, aimed straight for Jace's back, but Jace was faster. His instincts screamed. He spun, grabbing the guard's wrist and twisting hard. The blade clattered to the floor. The queen whipped around, her blade glowing to life instantly. "What is this?" she roared. The traitor snarled, his voice filled with venom. "You should not stand with this human, queen. He is not one of us. He is a chain too. Drag you down. He will betray you like all of his kind." The other guards gasped, some stepping back in shock. Jace tightened his grip, his voice like ice. "If I wanted her dead, I wouldn't have saved her life 100 times already." The queen stepped closer, her glowing sword now at the traitor's throat. Her laughter came, sharp and furious. "You dare raise your hand against me, against the one who kept me alive." The traitor spat on the ground, his eyes burning with rage. "You don't see it, my queen. He's already inside your fate. The snuva is tying you to him, but it will destroy you. It is poison." The words cut deep into the silence. The queen froze for a heartbeat, her mocking smile flickering. Her eyes darted to Jace. As if for the first time, she felt the weight of the traitor's warning. Jace's chest tightened. He didn't like the way she looked at him in that moment, as if doubting, as if asking silently if he was poison. But then her expression hardened. She pressed the blade tighter to the traitor's throat. "You dare speak of the snuva as if you understand it. You know nothing." The traitor growled. "I know enough. I know that once it binds, it consumes. It will take him. It will take you, and we will all fall." The guards shifted uneasily, whispers rippling among them. Doubt spread like smoke. Jace spoke then, his voice calm, steady, but dangerous. "If you think I want this bond, you're wrong. I never asked for it, but I won't run from it either. You want me gone? Fine, try and force me." The traitor's eyes blazed. He lunged again, but this time the queen moved faster. Her blade flashed, and in one swift strike, he fell. His body crumpled to the stone. Silence filling the chamber, the queen stood over him, her blade dripping with faint sparks. Her chest heaved. Her laughter returned, though hollow. "Let this be a lesson. Loyalty is not a choice. It is a bond stronger than steel." But when she looked at Jace, her eyes softened. The words of the traitor still hung between them. The fear of the snuva, the warning of doom. Later, when the guards left to secure the palace gates, the queen and Jace stood alone. The silence was thick. "You doubt me now," Jace said quietly, his arms crossed. The queen's smile was gone, replaced with something harder, something almost fragile. "Not you, human," she whispered. "I doubt fate itself." Her silver hair fell across her face as she lowered her head for the first time since he met her. No laughter, no mocking. Just truth, raw and heavy. Jace stared at her. This powerful queen who mocked death, now shadowed by fear. He hated seeing it, hated feeling something stir in his chest that he couldn't control. He stepped closer, his voice firm. "Then let them doubt. Let the snoover burn me if it wants. I'll fight anyway." Her eyes lifted to his, glowing faintly with a mix of respect, fear, and something else. "Be careful, human," she whispered. "You don't yet know what you're promising." The sound of drums echoed in the distance. The enemy was gathering again, stronger this time. The queen straightened. Her confidence returning like armor, she laughed, though it was softer now. "Then let us see if fate can be mocked as well." Jace gripped his rifle, his heart burned with fire. Betrayal had tested them. But now the real war was coming, and deep inside, he wondered if the traitor's words had been truth or just poison meant to divide them. The drums of war beat through the broken palace. Their heavy rhythm shook the air. Each strike carried a promise the enemy was gathering. In numbers greater than before, Jace and the queen stood in the war chamber, the torches flickering shadows across the walls. The queen leaned over the cracked map table, her silver hair glowing in the firelight, her eyes focused but restless. "They will strike again at dawn," she said, her voice steady. "This time with their full strength, they will not stop. Until I am ash, until the throne is dust." Jace adjusted his rifle and folded his arms. "Then we stop them. Simple as that." The queen's lips curved into a smile, sharp and sad at once. "Simple." "No, human, not simple. To stop them, we need more than weapons, more than courage. We need the snuva." The word hit Jace like a blade. He clenched his jaw. "You've danced around it long enough, queen. No more riddles. Tell me what it really means." For a long moment, she was silent, her mocking laughter, her playful mask all gone. She lifted her head, her eyes glowing faintly. "The snuva is not power you hold in your hand, Jace. It is power you bind to your soul, once claimed. It cannot be undone." Jace frowned, his voice hard. "You mean I'd be tied to you?" She stepped closer, her gaze piercing. "Yes, bound to me, bound to my life, bound to my throne. If I rise, you rise with me. If I fall, you fall too." The bond shares everything: strength, pain, even death. The silence between them grew heavy. Jace felt the weight of her words sink deep. He hated chains. He hated being owned. Yet here she stood, offering him something more binding than iron. "Why me?" he asked finally, his voice low. "Why not one of your own soldiers?" Her laughter returned, soft and bitter. "Because they cannot bear it. Only you, human. Only you burned with enough fire to awaken it. The Snuva chose you before I even spoke your name." Jace shook his head, pacing, his fists clenched. "I don't want fate deciding my life. I don't want some bond tying me down." The Queen's voice sharpened, her tone cutting like a blade. "Then leave. Jace, walk away now. Let my throne burn. Let my people die. But if you stay, you take this bond, you will not only fight beside me, you will become part of me." Her words twisted in his chest. He stared at her, his mind screaming at him to run, his heart burning with something. "Else, what's the cost?" he asked, though he already feared the answer. The Queen stepped close, her face inches from his. Her voice dropped to a whisper. "The cost is freedom. The cost is choice. Once you bind, the Snuva will live in you until death. It will give you strength beyond human limits, but it will also tie your soul to mine. If I die, you die. If you betray me, the Snuva will tear you apart from the inside." Her eyes locked on his, unblinking, so choose carefully. Mercenary, do you want to remain a man who fights for pay? Will you become something greater, something bound, something feared? Jace felt the fire inside him grow. He remembered the way they had fought together, the way their movements had matched, as if invisible strings had tied them already. He remembered the traitor's words, poison, chains, doom, but he also remembered the way her laughter filled the hall, the way she refused to bow to fear even when the world crumbled. He had fought for many leaders, but never for one who burned so bright. He took a step back, breathing hard, his mind pulled one way, his heart another. He hated cages, yet he hated the thought of walking away even more. The Queen saw his struggle, and for the first time, her voice softened, almost fragile. "I never asked you for this, Jace, but the Snuva has chosen. It will not release you. If you deny it, you will feel its fire until the end of your life, always pulling you back to me." Jace's fists loosened. He stared at her in silence. Then finally, he spoke, his voice steady as steel. "Then, if I'm already chained, I might as well use the chain as a weapon." Her eyes widened, a mix of shock and relief flickering in them. Then her laughter burst out, wild and fierce. "Ha ha! That's the spirit I wanted, human. That is why the Snuva chose you." But her laughter faded quickly, replaced by solemn focus. She raised her hand, her palm glowing faintly with blue light. "Then give me your hand, Jace. The bond must be sealed before dawn, or the throne's flame will die forever." Jace hesitated, his hand hovered over hers. His heart thundered in his chest. He knew the moment he touched her, his life would never be his own again. Outside, the drums pounded louder. The enemy gathered. Time was almost gone. He took a deep breath, his voice a whisper. "If this kills me, I'll haunt you forever." The Queen's smile was sharp as fire. "Then haunt me well." Human Jace placed his hand in hers. The glow of the Snuva flared between them, burning bright. The bond snapped into place like fire wrapping around his soul. His chest tightened, his mind flooded with light, and for the first time, he felt her not just beside him, but inside him. Their strength fused, their hearts beat as one. The bargain was made. The bond burned like fire in Jace's chest, his hand still locked in the Queen's. The glow of the Snuva wrapped around them both, blue light filling the ruined war chamber. His heart pounded, his mind rang with strange energy. For the first time, He could feel her breath as if it were his own, her pulse beating in rhythm. With his, the queen's silver hair lifted in the glow, her eyes blazing brighter than any torch. She laughed, wild and powerful. Ha ha. Now it is done, human. Now we are one. Jace gritted his teeth, his body trembling under the weight of the bond. It wasn't pain exactly, was pressure, strength pressing into his bones, like carrying the weight of a storm he could feel. Her thoughts brush against his, not words, but emotions, fury, pride, sorrow, hope. He pulled his hand back slowly, the glow fading into their skin. His voice was steady, though his chest burned. Let's end this before I regret it. The queen smirked, her glowing blade rising once more. Good dawn comes, and so do my enemies. They will see the throne is not so easily stolen outside. The palace walls thundered as the enemy's war drums grew louder. Hundreds of soldiers marched through the broken city, their banners black. Against the rising sun, at the front rode war beasts, armored giants with weapons forged to destroy kings and queens alike. Jace and the queen stood together at the shattered gates. Her guards, those still loyal, formed a line behind them. Their faces pale but determined. They looked at Jace differently now, as if the bond itself was shining from his eyes. The enemy stopped just short of the gates. Their commander, taller than the rest, raised his voice. Your throne is ash. Your rule is ended. Step aside, queen, and we will spare your lives. The queen's laughter cut through the dawn air, sharp and fearless. Spare us. You fools could not even kill me when I was weak. I am stronger than ever. Her glowing blade flared, the Snuva's power burning inside it. Jace felt it too. His blaster hummed hotter in his hands, charged by energy not his own. The bond had given him more than strength, had given him fire. The commander roared and ordered the attack. The black tide of soldiers surged forward. The ground shook with their charge. Now, human. The queen shouted, "Let the Snuva show them who we are." Jace opened fire. His blaster bolts burned brighter than ever before. Tearing through enemy lines with explosive force, the queen leaped into the crowd, her blade a streak of blue fire. Together, they carved through the enemy like storm and lightning. Every time she struck, Jace felt it. The fire of her blade burned in his chest, guiding his aim every time he shot. She knew exactly where to move, as if their bodies were two halves. Of the same rhythm, the enemy broke against them, hundreds falling, their courage crumbling. Upwards, forward. His massive axe glowing with dark energy, he charged straight at the throne steps. His roar shaking the city, the queen met him with her blade, the clash sparking light across the ruins. Jace fired again and again, but the commander's armor was thick. He roared and swung, forcing the queen back. Jace felt her struggle as if it were his own. Pain shot through his chest when the commander's axe struck her side. He staggered too, though no blade had touched him. Lives shared, their pain won. The queen gritted her teeth, her laughter fading into fury. We cannot fall, human. Not now. Jace's vision blurred with fire, but he tightened his grip on the rifle. His voice thundered. Then let's end him together. They moved as one. The queen feinted left, her blade glowing with a blinding flare. The commander raised his axe. 2 blocks, but Jace had already moved right. His blaster flared, striking the commander's exposed chest. The beast roared in agony, stumbling, and in that instant, the queen leapt high, her blade cutting through his throat in a final arc. His roar ended in silence as his massive body crashed to the stone. The battlefield froze. Enemy soldiers stared. In shock, their commander was dead, their courage shattered. The queen raised her blade high, her voice booming with laughter. The throne is mine once more. Run or be broken. The enemy fled, Scattering like smoke in the wind, their banners fell, their drums silenced. The battle was won. Silence fell over the ruined palace. The sun rose higher, its light shining across the broken stones. The queen turned slowly, her eyes meeting Jace's. For once, she did not laugh. Her expression was something else, soft, almost tender. "You have restored my throne, human," she said quietly. "But more than that, you have restored me." Jace lowered his rifle, his chest still burning with the bond. He wanted to speak, to argue, to remind her he never asked for this, but instead, he only said, "Then don't waste it, Queen." Her smile curved, small and sharp, but her eyes glowed with something deeper. She stepped closer, her hand brushing his arm. "You may call me Queen if you wish, but the Snuva already calls you mine." Jace's jaw tightened, his heart thundered. He hated chains, but standing there, beside her, watching the dawn break over the reclaimed throne, he wondered if this chain was not a cage, but a path. The throne stood tall again, cracked but glowing faintly with the flame that still lived. And upon it, the queen sat once more, her laughter ringing through the palace, not mocking, not desperate victorious. Jace stood at her side, his rifle ready, his chest burning with shared fire. He had come as a mercenary, but now he was something more, something bound. And as the light filled the throne room, one truth echoed clear. The throne was restored, but their story had only just begun.